Hello and welcome to part 2 of Counting and Descriptive in my Simple Excel Functions playlist. Today we're going to be looking at the count function in its different forms. Now the count function just has one argument, which is to select the range of data you want to look at. Now the count function will look at all the cells in that range and count all the cells that have a number value. So in this case, let's look at the data table to the left, which is the same data table I used in part 1 of the fictional results of a hot dog eating contest. Let's say we wanted to count the number of people in this data set. One way we could do this is the count function. We could count the number of cells in any of the columns that have number values. In this case, let's try the hot dog column. We just type in count, select the range of data we want. In this case, it says there are 17 entries. Now, similar to the count function, the Counta function will count all the cells in any given range that are not blank. So let's say we want to tackle the same problem as we did with the count function. One way we could do this is counting the number of entries in the name column. Type in Counta and select the range of data. Now you'll see the Counta and count functions give different numbers. That's because in the hot dog column, there's in fact one empty cell. Now, this is one downside of the count function in that if there's no number value, let's say you accidentally deleted it or it was never inputted correctly, you would not know just by counting with the count function. One way to guard against this is the CountBlank function, which, as its name suggests, will count all the blanks, all the cells that have blank values. Now that we've looked at these expressions of the count function, we're going to look at the most powerful form, the CountIF function. Now, similar to the count function, CountIF will count all the cells in a range that meet a certain criteria. In this case, we can count all the entries in this data table that are male. Now, the CountIF has two criteria. The first is select the range that you want to look at, and the second is what you want to filter by. So in this case, we're going to look at the sex column, and we're going to want to count all the cells that are male. So we'll put in parentheses equals M. So in this case, there are 10 males. Likewise, we can try out counting the number of females in the data table. Select the range. In this case, we're going to put equals F. And if you remember from earlier in the video, there are in fact 18 entries in this data table, so we've correctly counted all the male and female contestants. But to take the CountIF even further, there's a CountIF function, which allows you to add more than one filter for the things that you're counting. In this case, let's try counting all the people in this data set that ate over 50 hot dogs, but less than 70. So, count in CountIFs. Like CountIF, you put the range and then the criteria you want to filter by. But in this case, if you want to add more than one filter, you'll select the range again, and then add your second filter, and so on and so forth. So we're going to select the hot dog column. In this case, we want all the entries that are over 50. And then for our second filter, we're going to select the hot dog column again. But in this case, we want them to be less than 70. And there you go. In this case, there are 5 people who ate over 50 but less than 70 hot dogs. So I hope that was helpful. This wraps up the counting and descriptive videos in my Simple Excel function playlist. Hope you stick around for more videos.